This month I was supposed to do my podcast next week, but I did release it early, so let's talk about that instead. Usually I do my main channel video, and then at the end of the month do a podcast. The main channel video just goes up whenever it's ready, but it's not ready. I had a couple of different ideas what I wanted to do, but the one that I was most interested in doing needs more time, so I figured I'd just bring my podcast forward a week and do that then. If I don't get that video done, I'm going to be really annoyed, but that's the reason why this podcast is coming out now, and that's why that's coming out then. What I've mostly been doing, though, is work on the house again, and I've done quite a lot this month. Like, it feels like a lot, but it also feels like not enough. It feels like I should have done more, but I've done quite a bit. I've written notes, and they're in order, so I'm going to have to go through those, otherwise I'm going to be jumping all over the place, and it won't make any sense. So the first thing I did was I took the toilet apart, because I needed to do that so I could paint behind the toilet, which is now done, and then I put the toilet back together. I put a new flush and a new inlet in it, and it just looks a lot tidier inside now. It was a lot of old stuff inside the toilet, and it just about works. Now it works better, and it looks better, and it'll be a lot easier to fix if anything goes wrong. I did have some problems with it, where I just can't get the inlet as tight as I want it to, so for a bit it was still weeping a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be doing that anymore. But I have also got a plumber coming around soon, so I might get him to just have a look at that while he's there anyway. I got all that done, so the bathroom is mostly painted now. There's a little bit more painting to do, but I'm leaving that till after the shower's installed because that's all around the door frame, which is right next to where the shower is. So it might get messed up a bit, so I'll need to fix that if it gets messed up anyway. I've not installed the bidet or the new toilet seat, but again, I'm going to leave those until after the shower's installed just in case something goes wrong and they break the toilet. I've got a new sink, but again, not installing that until after the shower's been done. I removed the bath. That was one of the jobs the plumber was supposed to do, but I figured I'd just have a go, and it was surprisingly easy. I changed some of the taps in the kitchen, and it was largely the same process for removing the taps, and they're pretty much the only thing that hold the bath in place, really. It was screwed into the wall in 2 places, but I managed to undo those, and it was screwed into the floor, but that was just taking screws out. That was like nothing. And then the only thing holding it in place is the taps, essentially. The hot tap was easy, although the pipework for that is a bit weird, but not really important. But the cold tap, can't remember if I mentioned it in last month's podcast, but I think I did. But either way, the stopcock wasn't working properly. Still isn't. So I couldn't turn the cold water off. All I could do was turn it as low as possible, and then open up the other taps in the house, and do it as quickly as I could, basically. And I managed to do it, but got a bit wet in the process. I had a plan going in on what I was going to do, but when you're getting blasted in the face with water, you kind of start to panic even if you know what's going to happen. There's solid pipes made out of copper, sometimes made out of plastic, but these ones are copper, onto a flex pipe, which then goes onto your tap, right? My plan was unscrew the flex pipe, put it in a bucket so that the water could flow into the bucket while it was there, and then screw the tap back onto it so that it was closed off again. Now, if I'd have been thinking better, I would have realised that the hot tap I'd already removed is the exact same as the cold, so I could have just used that. But I didn't think about it to start with, which I should have done, but I didn't. And then started getting sprayed in the face with a load of water, so then I started panicking, so I was like, gotta get the cold tap off as fast as possible. So I managed to do it, and it could have been worse, but it just meant the entire time I was getting sprayed with water, the room was getting sprayed with water, because it was in the bucket, but the pressure was so high that it was bouncing out of the bucket and flying all over the place. It should have been easier. I could have made it a lot easier if I'd just thought things through a bit better first. But I got it done. I managed to get the cold tap off and screw the cold tap on, so there was basically just a loose pipe with a tap screwed onto it at the moment, just in the middle of the floor in my bathroom. But once that was done, it was just sliding the bath out, really. And the bath is made out of fiberglass, which means that the bath itself is incredibly light. I took the feet off the bath, but that wasn't a weight thing, it was just to make the bath a bit thinner so it would fit through the door better. And then I got it out myself and down the stairs, because the bathroom's upstairs. If you've seen the videos, you'll know the bathroom's upstairs. And I managed to get that up and out and down into the garden myself, just on my own. And it was surprisingly easy. I thought it was going to be harder than that, but it wasn't that bad. It was pretty stressful, but it was kind of fun. The plumber should hopefully be coming the Monday after this comes out to fit the shower, which should be an easier job, considering I've already removed the bath and everything. There's still a lot of it to do, because all the pipework needs doing and everything, but a lot of the removal work I've already done. If it was just a straight swap, I'd try and do it myself. If I was replacing the bath with another bath, I'd probably just do that myself, because it's not a huge amount, but I don't trust myself to do any of the pipework, really. If it was, I'll do some basic pipework. I'd be comfortable putting a flex pipe onto a copper pipe to run up to a tap, stuff like that. I'd be comfortable doing that. I'd be comfortable if it was just a matter of shortening a pipe. If I'm just going to cut it down and put a new fitting on the end of it or something, I can do that as well, but it's not. It's like going to have to like solder the pipe and all sorts of stuff. I guess I could do it on my own if I used some of the plastic and the push fittings and stuff, but I don't know. I'm not confident enough to do it, really, so I'm just going to leave that and get like an actual plumber to do it. I've got to convince him to actually fit the bathroom radiator as well. There's a bathroom radiator and an upstairs radiator that I want him to fit, but he's being weird about it. He keeps saying, oh, well, we'll just get this done and then see. And it's like, no, I need to be able to live in my house. The other thing is that I've got to take the floor up to do some of the work for the shower. I've also got to take the floor up to do work for the radiator. So I don't want to take the floor up twice. So I can't get a new vinyl floor in until after all the pipe work's done, which means I'm just going to have no floor in there unless he will just fit the radiator like I want him to. So I've got to try and get him to do that. But if I can get him to do that, that room will basically be done. There'll be some more painting, like I said, because I've not painted the door frame. And I've not painted that door at the moment either. But the reason I've not done either of those, for one, is because it'll be easier to do the shower without the door in the way, and it'll also be easier to paint the door with it off and everything. But I also want to rehang the door and have it open the opposite way. At the moment, it would open into where the shower is, and I want it to open into the wall instead, because that'd just be better. It also means I don't have a handle slamming into the glass to worry about, but I'll need to do that. I know how to do it, but I've never actually done it myself, so we'll try that out. I have painted another door though. I've painted the door for in my room. I just finished that yesterday, actually. I tried a different way of painting than I usually do. I used a foam roller to roll the gloss on rather than brushing it, and it wasn't worth it in the end. I ended up just doing it with a brush. I was getting a very even finish, but there was so little paint going on that after 3 coats with the roller, it looked like I hadn't done anything. Like, you could see that it was a different colour, but you could see completely through the black. So I did 1 coat after that with a brush, and it was almost perfect. So I did another coat with the brush, and now it's done. So that door's had 4 coats on either side now, which is a lot more than I wanted to, and I've had to buy yet more paint, but hopefully this is the last one of those, because the gloss in my room and the gloss in the bathroom is the same, so I needed to buy more, so I had more. And especially because I need to like do some touch-up work after the new floor in the bathroom's been fitted, and I already know I need to do some touch-up work in my room because I scratched one of the walls the other day, although that's a different paint anyway, but you get what I'm saying. So it'd be useful to have a little bit of the same paint around anyway, but even so, it's annoying that I've had to buy... I've spent 60 quid on gloss just for 2 rooms, but hopefully it'll be okay. I also got new door handles and hinges and locks for all of the doors. They just came in the post the other day. I'll be fitting those. I think I'm going to fit those tomorrow, or at least a couple of them. I'll fit the ones upstairs probably. I'll leave the ones for downstairs for now, because that room is the one I'm working in the most, in the living room. So I'm going in there and doing a lot of like demolition stuff at the moment. So I don't want a nice new door handle on it to fuck up, basically. I've not done anything in the basement since that video I showed last month. I've moved a few bits around, like tidied up a little bit, but it needs tidying properly, because it would also just be nice to go down there and not get covered in spiders every single time I go down. There was a bit the other day where I was like, oh, I'll go down and I'll remove one of the doors, because I'm just throwing those away anyway. I started trying to remove one side, and the screws were in so tight I just couldn't do it. It might not even be tight, it might actually be because of the damp, it might have like rusted in place or something. Either way, I can't get the screw out. So I turned around to try the other side, because it's not one normal door, it's 2 half doors. I turned around to do the other side, and there was just a spider in my face, and I just swore at it and walked out the room, because I was like, I'm not even trying anymore, I don't care. I need to tidy up down there and just get rid of all the spiders, and that'll be just a nicer room to work in. Even if it's covered in water, at least I've not got to worry about the bugs all the time. I can't even turn the fuses off because there's spiders all over the fuse boxes. It's just, I hate it down there. One of the video ideas I had for this month actually was I bought a disc cutter, which is the big saw for cutting through cement that I mentioned. I bought one because it just turned out that it was easier to buy one than it was to rent. It was about 180 quid a week to rent it, or it was 200 to buy one. So I just bought one, and now I've got it forever. And I've already got some other jobs I want to use it on anyway, so whatever. I'll just have to get used to using it, and then I'll use it. That's other work I've actually done. I mentioned that I'm not swapping that door handle in the living room because I'm doing a lot of demolition work in there. I've done quite a bit. I've removed basically that entire fireplace now. There was like the outside bit of the fireplace, and then there was like the inside bit that was actually in the chimney breast. I've removed the entire bit that was in the chimney breast now. I say the entire bit. It's not quite true. I removed everything but about 4 or 5 bricks just because I was so tired by the time I'd gotten that far. I was supposed to go home at like 3:30, and it was 3:20, and I was like, there's 5 bricks left to do. I want to get it done, but I was like, I'm tired, and I need to go soon anyway, and I needed to tidy up as well, and I was just like, no, I'll just leave it. So I'm going to do that maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. The reason I'm not sure is because it's such a like dirty job that I kind of prefer leaving it till like I'm not doing anything else. I mean, I might do. I'll work some out. I did that on Thursday, so I'll either leave it till Thursday or I'll do it tomorrow. Thursday's the last day that I'm usually working there at the moment, is because, Friday I do my streams and that. Saturday is like my day off. Sunday I make my videos. Monday to Thursday I work there. Friday I stream. I've not totally decided what I'm going to do with the fireplace. If I want to ever get a fireplace installed, there's a lot of work that would need doing. Like I might need to extend the builder's opening out and put a new lintel in and pay to get an actual fire fitted, and they use like a flue lining instead of just having your smoke go up the chimney now, and it'd just be a lot of work. So I could try and do some of it properly now. I would have to plaster the inside of it with cement, which I've mentioned before, but it turns out that even if I do that, I might even have to remove that because of the other work that would need doing as well. So I think what I'm leaning towards is just covering it up with plasterboard. It won't be proper, but it'll work, and it'll also be usable a lot quicker then. So I think that's what I'm leaning towards. And I can get a sheet of plasterboard for like 20 quid. So I can just have that done then. And it would be nice to have that just finished. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I'm not totally sure, but I'm going to maybe go to a builder's merchant tomorrow and have a quick look. Just see what I think. And I think the only other thing I've done is that I bought a sound bar because we took a computer there so that when we're eating we can watch videos and stuff. I have spare computers lying around, so why not? But we've been using the speakers that, that were part of the monitor, and it was just awful. I watch all my videos at 2x speed. If you've watched me for long enough, you'll know that. If you talk to me ever, you'll probably know that. But the speakers were so bad that at 2x speed, I couldn't understand what they were saying. So we bought a soundbar, and yeah, it's so much nicer. It was hardly any work. It was literally nothing. But it just makes the bits in between doing work there just a lot nicer and a lot more comfortable. As for the channels, Yakuza Dead Souls started and is going to carry on for the foreseeable future. I think at the moment that's probably going to end around, if not actually take us to the end of the year, it'll be like midway through December. I've just finished Ryuji's chapter 3, so there's 6 chapters left, I think. There's either 5 or 6. So I've just finished Ryuji's chapter 3, and that is going to take us to the 24th of November. I already know that. So that means that I've got one more chapter of that, which is for the 26th, and then I'll be starting Kiryu, and then there's 4 chapters, and then there's a finale chapter. That's at least 5 more, and then there's however long his side quests take me. Probably looking at about another 8 or 9 episodes after where I'm at now. That'd be about 3 weeks, wouldn't it? So that's either the middle of December or depending the end of December. So it may well be the last one I do this year. I'm enjoying it so far. It's had a couple of issues. Kind of freezes sometimes, and I have to just restart it. But I've not had it actually crash on me or anything. Just in case though, I'm saving a lot more regularly. I would usually save at the end of a session. So usually I cut a Yakuza episode as I go to save. In this, I'm saving basically every time I do something important. I'll cut out the ones where I can, but I can't always do that. So you just have to put up with it. It's hardly a big deal, but I like not showing the saves because it kind of, I don't know, it just keeps you in the game, you know what I mean? But I'm kind of enjoying it a lot, actually. I always heard that Dead Souls was terrible, but I really liked it. I keep wanting to play more. I feel this way about pretty much all the Yakuza games, really, but yeah, I just really like it. Oh, there is actually one other thing with problems with it. I am spending a lot of time staring at the floor, and that's because the game runs really badly. It runs really badly if there's either a lot of people on screen or a lot of the map rendered at once. So if you stare at the floor, you don't have to worry about either of those. It's a little bit annoying, but it's hardly the end of the world. I've got that video coming next Friday. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it is actually going to be a scripted video for once, which is why it's taking so long, because it just takes me a while to write scripts. I think that's it. Everything else is just carrying on as normal. Special thanks to all of my patrons. You can join them over at patreon.com/Holden Gatsby, and for $1 a month you'll get to see what I'm working on early and get exclusive roles in my Discord along with other rewards I might think of. You can also just follow me there if you want to for free, as it's probably the best place to see all of my content as soon as it's available. There's links to the Patreon along with my Discord, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch and all the other podcast platforms in the description for this episode. Finally, don't forget you can email me using podencastby@gmail.com if you've got anything you want to say. Thanks for sticking around. Bye. Special thanks to my patrons, Justin Wood, Hobbs and Koopy Vegeta. You can join my patrons at patreon.com/Holden Gatsby, check out my TikTok and Twitter @Holden Gatsby, and follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Holden Gatsby. Don't forget to subscribe to all of my channels. If you want more, you can watch my last video now, but if not, then thanks for sticking around. Bye.